Yes, thanks for staying with us on the Sports Show. Time to turn our attention to show jumping now. So we thought we'd bring in a couple of young South Australian stars, Poppy. So Amy McMorr and Jasmine Dorr have joined us. Thanks for coming in, girls.
Thanks for having us.
All right, let's start with you, Amy. So you started riding when you were about 3 or 4 because your mum, of course, was a terrific rider. Was there anything other than horse riding for you, or that was always where you were going?
No, it was always the horses when I was growing up. Mum was really good. She did let me play other sports. I played netball for quite a while, and then I went to boarding school and I took up hockey, which I absolutely loved. And I was lucky enough to play in a couple of hockey grand finals as well. But always the horses.
So grew up on the land?
Yeah. We had a property of about 20 acres.
Okay,
so
good.
Enough that small hobby farm, few cattle, mostly for the horses really. So
okay, and
really
Jasmine, you started earlier. Can you believe this? Probably started at 2, riding ponies.
I reckon I could walk at 2.
I don't know how safe that is.
So you started at 2, but you were competing by the time you were nearly 8 years old, weren't you?
Yeah, I think I first started at pony club competitions. I think I did my first 3-day event when I was 5 or 6.
Wow.
Yeah, I sort of started at my winter series show jumping when I was 8. So,
It's not bad, is it?
You know, no, it's unbelievable. It's impressive. But what gets me about people that are involved in show jumping, let's use that as this example, is the amount of time that it takes to groom, prepare, train, feed, wash. You've got no idea. You just give us a quick indication what a normal week might look like, both of you, because you know.
Yeah, it's like having kids.
Well, it is. It's non-stop. It's non-stop.
it is,
Yeah, you got to feed them every morning, every night, exercise them every night.
Yeah. So from a timing perspective, how many hours would you put in to an individual horse per week?
I guess.
At least probably 3 a day, I reckon.
3 hours a day.
It would be 3 a day.
And that's every day?
Well, each per horse,
Yes.
I'd say.
Yeah. And how many horses you got each?
I have 2 that I ride, and
Yes.
then I've got a little colt, but he won't be broken in for another 2 years. So
Okay.
yeah, but
So
still I have to feed him.
It's a 40-hour week job.
Yeah, it's a full-time job.
It's amazing. It really
Let's
is.
ask you, Amy. You did really well at the Futurity final in Sydney.
Yeah. That was
How did you
amazing.
rate your performance?
Oh, that was probably one of the best rounds I'd ridden. It was definitely the biggest class I've started in. I hadn't had flirt back in work for that long. I think it was my 4th show of the season. So it was a pretty big ask going up there. But I knew that I was a shot to make the final, which was really, really good. So, and competing against some of the best riders in the country. And it's a class for up-and-coming sort of horses. So not the top end of the scale, but they're the horses that you're looking at to be competing at that end.
Okay, so it's pretty good. Now, Jasmine, you were dominating probably 2:13, 14, 15, 16. Everything was going really nicely. Then you decided to fall off your horse and fracture your back.
Yeah,
Wow. Can you tell us
wasn't
how
the most convenient thing to do.
Yeah, how'd you do it?
Basically, the horse just stopped at the jump, and I jumped it, and he didn't.
Is that right?
Yeah, landed
Is that
flat on
counted
my back.
as a jump?
No.
Okay.
I left all the rails up though, so I thought it was pretty
Is
impressive.
that unusual? I mean, when you're training, is it unusual for the horse just to get spooked? I don't know. If that's the
It
right
was
term,
unusual for that horse that I was riding, but you know they can all stop. So.
And I don't think you can be prepared for that as much as you think you know the horse. It's when they do things out of the ordinary that you can't be prepared.
Yeah,
and you see it
horse,
even at Olympic level that it can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this horse, he never stops. That's why I trust him to leave the ground. If you're sort of on a young horse, you're a bit, it could stop. But yeah, definitely wasn't expecting it with that horse. So.
All right, so you come back from the fractured back and start to train again, then you fall and break a wrist and fracture a cheekbone.
First time jumping that horse back and come off and fractured my wrist.
What's the name of this horse?
Rip It Up or Reno.
Yeah, we'll put a line through Rip It Up. Okay.
No, he's usually really good.
I want to ask you about your horses. Young horse to train, and most people watching go, oh, well, a 2-year-old horse, which is what you've got, should just about be ready to go, but it's nothing like that, is it?
No, it's a pretty long process. It's not like the race horses where they're at their peak at a younger age. Show jumpers, you're sort of looking at around 12 to 14 is probably their prime time. So yeah, I've just bought myself a young horse from Sydney. She's 2 at the moment. So I'll be looking she'll have a year out in the paddock just to grow and mature a bit more. So I'll be looking at breaking her in or putting her under saddle this time next year. and then it'll be like another 12 months before I'd be really starting to think about her going out in the competition ring. It's a long process.
It is. Do you buy a horse, like you use racing as an analogy then, you buy a horse, either prepare it for a 2-year-old season and or a Melbourne Cup, a staying horse, and you buy it on, breeding.
Yeah.
Is it the same sort of mentality? And do you buy it in anticipation of a national, an Olympic? What do you buy it preparing it for?
Yeah, so this horse that I've just bought myself it's really well bred. Horses like grand sires and stuff have competed at the Olympic Games.
Okay.
So that's like everyone's end goal is to end up there, but it does help if you've got something that's performance bred.
Yes.
In saying that, a lot of my previous horses have been off the track thoroughbreds, so give them a life after racing.
Sure.
So you've always got the exceptions to the rule.
Okay, so with this horse then, is this horse the one that you put faith in and energy into with the dream of one day representing the country?
Oh, for sure. Like, it's the opportunities come up for me to purchase myself something with that ambition. But in saying that, my other horse, Wandery Flirt, is actually my mum's horse, and she'd always planned that was going to be her next World Cup horse.
Okay.
And injuries happen, and life gets in the way. So it's such a long process. Anything can go wrong, but you've always got that end goal.
Yeah.
What about yours, Jasmine? Turn It Up. We've put a line straight through Rip It Up after what they've done in Hero.
If Rip It Up's watching, he's going to be so disappointed.
He's going to be really
actually my best horse.
The best at injuring you? Or the best
I sort of grew up with Rip It Up. He's a quarter horse actually, so not meant to jump at all. But yeah, he's the one I sort of took me from juniors through young riders, senior ranks. He's done the most for me. And then Turn It Up, he's still a little bit young. He's just turned 7 and he can be a bit silly sometimes.
Can I just ask a quick one? When you went off and injured your back, does a horse know? Does a horse, given you've had that connection for so long, did he come up to you? Does he walk away?
It's not Mr.
But
Red,
seriously,
mate.
there is a connection with the horses.
Horse.
I'm serious. I've spent a little bit of time with horses, but there is a connection between horse and rider.
Yeah, well, when I fractured my back, he just went for a bit of a bolt, found some green grass. Right? Yeah. It's like, I can
that
eat
was
now.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I knew he was in trouble. So
when I fractured my wrist, he just sort of stood there looking at me like, "Ooh, what have I done?"
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some events coming up. 1st to the 10th of September, of course, the Royal Adelaide Show's on. So World Cup, Young Rider Selection Series, and a lot of international riders coming. So your brother's competing. So you'll have some work involved preparing the horse.
Yeah.
You'll be competing.
Yeah, I'm competing Turn It Up in Part 3 this year. So he did Part 3 last year as well. So I'm hoping he'll be a little bit more competitive this year. He's a bit older.
The Australian Championships are after that. They're at Werribee on the 13th to 17th of September. Again, you're helping prepare. You're competing.
Yeah, I'm competing Turn It Up again. He's in the Ruby Series and the Future Stars.
All right, and then the last one, of course, 16th and 19th of November, we've got the Adelaide 3-day event.
Yeah.
Big one, that's a massive one here.
Yeah, entries haven't opened for that yet, but I'll see how I go at Australian Champs, and then hopefully, if everything's going well, I'll enter him in that again.
Okay, and what are you doing for that one, Jazz?
I'm not sure at this stage. The horses that I'm riding at the moment, they're a bit on the younger side, so just wait and see how the rest of the season plays out.
All right, the floor guy's giving me the wind-up, but I just quickly want to say this. I know you're studying, you've finished your Bachelor of Arts and you're doing a law degree on top of spending 40 hours a week with the horse. How do you find the time to fit all that in?
It's pretty tough. You've got to be, with my studies, I've got to be super on top of everything. There's a lot of late nights involved, a lot of early mornings, but it all comes down to time management and organisation, which I guess is the same with any sport, really.
Yeah, sure. All right, and you're doing the same, Jazz? You're studying as well?
Teaching, not as intense, but
No, same thing. Well done, girls. We'll follow you with interest. Hope you can stay with us. Still plenty to come on the show.